Do not laugh. I am serious. And if you think about it, I think you'll understand exactly how serious I am. Nintendo Switch icons are one of the most defining features of this system. As silly as it sounds, it's something that Nintendo has latched onto and held on super tightly for the entire generation. And in an era where many platform holders are kind of abandoning this type of system and this emphasis, Nintendo has doubled down in that icons are the main way they interact with the online Switch community beyond game releases, which of course they have to do those. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Today's Good Morning Mario is a Good Morning Mario, Good Morning Switch fans, because it's all about icons. And again, you might find this silly, but I think it's actually very interesting. The icons are something that Nintendo views as a way to reward you for playing their games and as a way to make sure that their fan base feels even more invested in their games. They bring out all sorts of icons for all sorts of games, and they've even expanded the functionality of icons since they added them. And even more recently, they've added a new play and redeem feature that allows you to get icons by playing specific, owning specific, using and taking advantage of specific Nintendo games. But we got to start at the very beginning, which is where icons began, with a look at the icons that you could choose from at the very start. Now, icons to me, if I had to pick between avatars, Miis, and icons, I do think icons are probably the best bet. They started off with a basic ensemble of icons: Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, DK Bowser, so on and so forth. They gave icons for early games launching on the system. They gave icons for popular characters. Basically, they gave icons for Mario and a little bit of Zelda. So you'd pick Link, and then you could go and pick the background, and you have this lovely Lowe's or Home Depot set of paint colors. Pick a color for your room, pick a color for your avatar, pick a color for your icon, and boom, you are locked in. You now have an icon. And there's not anything else you can do with this icon, except that this icon is what defines your profile. This icon is what separates you, but you can also use a Mii. But the Mii is something that I've seen very few accounts use. I can go in here and I can make a Mii, I can choose a lookalike, or I can copy from Amiibo. But Nintendo has not really mentioned Miis in a very long time, and I feel like this is sort of a feature that most of us forget about. Before I started looking into this video, I totally forgot that you could create a Mii on your Switch for your icon profile. Like, I knew you could import them. I did not know that I could literally go in here and there's a Mii maker on Nintendo Switch. And it's because icons have established such a popularity that you kind of forget that they have Miis. Now, the basic icon layout and the basic icon list here feels like a sticker sheet of Nintendo favorites, but it doesn't go much beyond that. Because what's interesting about how Nintendo decided to utilize icons is that they're not just adding to the arsenal. It's not like you can now scroll through a list of 300 icons and pick your favorite from over the years of Switch. Basically, if you go to select an icon, you get year one of Switch with a little bit of Animal Crossing tossed in there. You get year one of Switch and the games that came out very early on with this platform, and not much else. You have to venture over to the Nintendo Switch online tab in order to really take advantage of the full breadth of icons. And that's where they release these timed exclusive icons that they tie into game launches, they tie into DLC, they tie into, hey, everybody forgot about Animal Crossing New Horizons, let's bring this back. And they usually have a limited amount, sometimes 4, sometimes 3, of different icons that you can pick from. And you're going to utilize your mission and reward points in order to buy these icons. So you can't just pick willy-nilly, you can't just pick freely. Nintendo has gamified the icon system, and in some ways I think it's cool, and in some ways I wonder if this is a system that Nintendo should abandon as they move to the next generation. Currently, we have these Nintendo World Championship NES Edition icons that honestly I think are pretty cool. Like, is this Lemmy here? I think it's Lemmy. Might be Iggy. I think Lemmy is the one. You can buy Lemmy for 10 platinum points, and then we can go into icon creation. But what's weird is how the icon creation is kind of limited based on what you have access to. There's no backgrounds. Nintendo decides that there are no backgrounds and no frames for these characters, which is very bizarre. Sometimes there'll be a lot of backgrounds. Sometimes there'll be a lot of frames. Sometimes there's none. And there's no way for you to choose if you can mix and match, if you can utilize your whole slate. It's just what they have. So if I go over here and I pick up this cool looking bird character, I can redeem the bird character. And then I can see that, okay, they do seem to have no freaking backgrounds for this either. So when I go to view my bird in my icon collection and use to create an icon, I can pick from their preset colorways that they've given me, or I can go and pick no backgrounds, which is so bizarre. Now, some games are going to give you quite a bit of backgrounds. And if I go to my icon collection, I then can see, okay, some more diverse choices, right? So these are the icons I've already made. I have from Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, Cat Peach, and I have a little like sticker 2D Bowser. And I can pick from the backgrounds that I've acquired from that game, as well as the frames that I've acquired from that game. So it's a very limited system. Despite Nintendo wanting you to express yourself, it's actually quite rote, and it's very locked into what they decide. Now, you can obviously switch your categories. You can see what I've got different categories for, different games that I've acquired them from, and different ones that I've paid attention to. But what I think is odd here is that it's all broken apart. I can't go and select my Kirby burger in my icon menu off of my profile. I have to go to the Nintendo Switch Online section, and then I have to go to the specific Kirby in the Forgotten Land section, and then I can only put Kirby Burger with backgrounds and frames that I've acquired from this game, and if I didn't acquire them, then I'll have no choices and no options. This to me seems like they intentionally boxed themselves in, or maybe accidentally, in a level that I just don't think is necessary. Why can't I use my Mario Odyssey Golden Goomba with my Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Pokeball background? Why can't I use my Pokemon Scarlet and Violet character with my Super Princess Peach Showtime frame? Why is it so limited? And why are these icons not available for me to pick anytime I want? And I'll tell you why. Because Nintendo's online service is a little bit lackluster. The eShop is quite ugly. The eShop is hard to navigate, and Nintendo does not provide any free games. They more provide things like a trial, and they're not even regular with their trials. It's random. The game selection is random. Frankly, the quality is random. There are these play and earn rewards that you can get from playing a few hours. You have to play Mario, 3D World, and Bowser's Fury on 3 separate days within the last 30 days to have access to buy these. And then I can get in here and I can buy, a big Bowser. And it's very tricky. Like, it will not let me do this. Even if it shows up on my page, this one's so sick. But I cannot do it unless I log into Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury 3 times in a 30-day period. So there's a gamification of this system here because I believe Nintendo's Online does not have a whole lot to offer. And because Nintendo's Online is very simplistic, Nintendo is trying to add effectively gameplay to their icon assortment and make you have to check back in online. Now, this could also be a tactic Nintendo uses to keep you subscribed to Nintendo Switch Online, which to me is also silly because who's honestly keeping their subscription so that they can get new icons? I mean, maybe somebody really wants this Princess Peach mermaid icon. Maybe someone really wants this plant icon, but nobody is paying their Nintendo Switch Online so that they can have access to these icons. I can all but guarantee it. The percentage of people that would pick specifically to have Switch Online for these icons has to be infinitesimal. Moreover, it's that occasionally you see a game featured that has an icon you like, you grab it because it's there and accessible, and then you forget about it forever. I do exactly that. I have, as you can see, a ton of Switch games, but I only have made 6 icons. It's because the time it takes for me to go on here and figure out what the open icons are, what games there are, and I can't even utilize these elements in my own icon creativity. I have to place them with what Nintendo has pre-decided, makes it pretty unappealing. Unless there's something that I specifically see and say, oh my god, I love that, like this giant mouth Kirby, or like this cool Spiny with the red outline, double outline that I thought looked really nifty. There's not much reason to go after icons, and it's not like they add them to their initial assortment to make that list grow or get much bigger. Now, early on when Nintendo would update the Switch firmware, they would add some more icons. And that was always interesting because we could go and see, oh, now there's Kirby icons. Now they added a Zero Suit Samus. Now there's a few Pikmin to pick from. Now there's 3 Star Fox icons, despite the only Star Fox appearance being in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and in Starlink. Starflight. What's the Ubisoft game? Starlink Atlas Friggamarick. I don't remember the name of the game. I think it's Starlink. But they didn't really decide to go all out with this, and at the same time, they're leveraging it like it's a big feature. Nintendo did do something cool, I believe, by adding the missions and rewards segment, which felt like micro achievements on a smaller scale designed by Nintendo. Now, many of these missions are very, very simplistic. They make them this way so that you can easily acquire icons, even though the acquisition of icons isn't easy because you cannot mix and match as you would like to do. So when I go to missions, I can see back up your save data. Pretty darn easy. Play NES Mario Bros. Lost Levels. Use this application. Played some software. Played a trial game software. It's pretty darn simplistic to a level that, like, even using this app gets me points. Opening up the NES Mario Bros. Lost Levels is going to get me points. Backing up my save data is going to get me points. So the gamification is strange because there's very strict rules to how these icons can be used, yet it's very easy to acquire them. And I feel like there's this mismatched identity where the icons are way more convoluted than they need to be in terms of limited release, which that part I don't mind. But then the limited ability for you to mix and match and create your own icons seems absolutely bizarre and pointless. These are all Nintendo games. So it's not like, oh, we don't want Lara Croft to be on the Fallout 4 background. It's like, why can't Kirby be on a Mario background? Why is Nintendo being so darn brand locked down with their characters, their borders, and their backgrounds that they can't let us mix and match? And you'd think then, okay, maybe these are lucrative items. Maybe because they're time limited and hard to acquire, it's like a badge of honor. But then you go and you look at missions and you say, I have to back up my save data. I have to play a software that supports online play. I have to literally open the application that I have to open to see my missions and rewards. And it does not feel that juicy. It does not feel satisfying, and it does not really feel like an achievement. It feels like a hoop to jump through. I think Nintendo's icon system is very, very underwhelming. I think while icons are cool, and I do like that Nintendo does lean into their history, their library, the nostalgic factors that they have, that they can bring a old Mario Bros. 2 NES edition icon and get somebody excited. They can throw a Kirby from original Kirby in here and get somebody to put this as their profile. And it's really fun. Like, you see it on your Switch home screen, and I do really enjoy that part where you're like, oh, let me jump into a game here, and we're going to see what users I have. Oh, I've got, Bowser, I've got Peach, I've got this big dino from Captain Toad, I've got DK. It's pretty cool. But the way that they're implemented and how they try to mask this cool achievement system and this valuable feature and this time-limited exclusivity, but they don't really take it to a level where it feels fun, it feels free, it feels accessible, it feels creative, it feels valuable. It's kind of just a mismatch of all of that, and it lies in the strange in-between where it's not valuable, it's not rare, but it's also not super fun. I do like that Nintendo allows for these profile icons, but many other platform holders, the other 2 platform holders, have not gamified their icon system in such a way. You pick your icon and you're done with it. And I bet many of you just pick your icon and are done with it as well. As I mentioned, I don't think people are picking up Switch Online just to get access to the latest Nintendo World Championship icons. People are going to spend their money on Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. They're not going to spend their money so that they can get a Zelda Echoes of Wisdom icon that can't even be very customized. So I think Nintendo has an opportunity to really expand upon this, and as silly as it sounds, a new way to interface with your Switch 2 could be a humongous upgrade. A new eShop, a new theme system, a new icon system, a more expanded, more challenging achievement mission system would be very welcome. I almost feel like sometimes Nintendo intentionally makes things dumbed down and makes them seem very basic because eventually they want to impress us. And it's like, you can impress someone a lot more if you start at the bottom of the barrel and then you can climb up the rungs individually and make small improvements that seem notable to your fan base because you started from such a bare bones place. But wouldn't it ultimately be better to the fans if Nintendo just introduced great systems, great eShops, great ways to acquire icons, great creativity amongst the icons. It's like sometimes I feel like they nickel and dime not only in purchases, but in features. So it's like now, with Switch 2, your icons can be customized. So you can take this beautiful fire flower from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and put it on a Mario 3D World background, even though the fire flower is also in Mario 3D World and the characters are owned by the same company and are part of the same universe. It just makes no sense. And I think the icons and the whole online focus on icons and how much real estate is actually taken up by icons, how much space, and then gosh, how many annoying articles are written where it's like, new free downloads from Nintendo, new freebies given off on Switch. It's like, dude, it's just another set of weekly icons. Don't talk about it like that. Don't make it a big deal. Don't glorify this system that is actually kind of crummy. I think it's something that Nintendo can significantly upgrade, but if they don't significantly upgrade it, I'm going to try not to be impressed by like, now you can mix your icons up and create a collage from different games. Like, we should have had that in the beginning. So at the end of the day, while icons started off as a cool way to express yourself and something to help show your Nintendo fandom, I think they evolved into something that Nintendo tried to capitalize too much on, take too much advantage of, and gamify in a way that wasn't really challenging or fun, and instead felt quite limited for something that really doesn't need that much attention and really could have simplistically been an easy way for you to pick from your favorites of Nintendo, mix them together, and make something all your own. Instead, you can't do that. Nintendo's made a lot of hoops to jump through to get these, and I don't think they're all that exciting. But let me know what you think about icons. That is a 7-year building review of a small square JPEG. Yeah, it's kind of silly, but it is important, and Nintendo clearly values it, as I made evident today by how much darn focus and how many hoops they've littered amongst our Nintendo Switch screen. So let me know your take in the comments down below, everybody. Until next time, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.